You think they'll miss you? You think they'll crave you? Oh no, no. They won't. Not yet. Not now. Not until you vanish. The moment you disappear, they'll start to understand. They'll start to feel it. You're just another fixture in their world, a part of the wallpaper, until you're not there. They won't even notice the empty space you leave. Not at first. But when they do, when the weight of your absence sinks in, oh, they'll crawl, they'll beg, and you'll enjoy every second of it. You see, absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder. It makes them desperate. The moment you pull away, just a little, mind you, it'll drive them wild. You'll drive them crazy. Because what is it that they really want? Control, power. They thought they had you, didn't they? Thought you were their little puppet, always dancing on their strings, showing up when they wanted, staying when they needed you. But you've slipped away, and now chaos ensues. You see, you were never a fixture to them. They were the ones trapped in the illusion that you'd always be there. But oh, how quickly the walls come crumbling down when you show them. You're not. Now, let's be honest. You weren't really important, were you? Not to them. Not before you left. You were just a tool, a prop in their little game. But now they'll crave you. They'll ache for you. They'll start to question everything. Where you are, why you're not around, what happened, what went wrong. But you know what the best part is? The best part is they don't even realize what's missing until it's too late. Their lives, their precious little routines, their false sense of security, all of it's shaken because the one thing they thought they could rely on has vanished. And all you did, you simply disappeared. You didn't even need to do anything. You left them hungry for a taste of you, a touch, a glimpse of what they once took for granted. They'll miss the way you spoke, the way you could just disappear into a room and command attention without saying a word. They'll miss the way you made them feel important, powerful. You know, they never thanked you for it. They never once stopped to appreciate the energy you injected into their boring little lives. They never stopped to think, what would happen if they weren't here? But now they'll feel the sting of the void you left, the coldness of a world without you in it. And it'll hurt, it'll burn, but here's the kicker. They'll crave you even more the moment they realize they can't have you anymore. See, people are simple. They only appreciate things when they're gone, when they can't touch them, when they're not on a leash. And that's when you'll become irreplaceable. The one thing they never thought they needed until you were just gone. You think they're going to crawl back? You think they'll beg for your attention? Oh, they will. They'll suffer first, though. The hunger will eat them alive. They'll wonder why they were so careless with you, why they treated you like just another part of their little world, their little insignificance. The truth is, they only crave you now because they don't have you. They'll ache for something they never thought they'd miss. But now, it's the only thing on their mind. They can't get enough of it. But here's the thing you need to understand. You don't have to give them what they want. Not anymore. No. You don't even have to show up when they call. You know why? Because you've already turned the tables. You flipped the script, and now They're the ones who need you, not the other way around. You control this game, not them. Not anymore. They're the puppets now, and you're the one who's pulling the strings. And oh, the sweet agony of it. To know that your absence isn't just missed, it's craved. It's a thirst that can't be quenched. They'll come crawling back, desperate to get even a little taste of you, to feel your presence again. But it's too late. By then, they'll already be so far gone. They'll never be able to get back to the way things were. You're the ghost in their world, now. The whisper in their ear. The chaos that'll eat them alive. They'll try to apologize, to make up for it. They'll try to earn your presence. But here's the thing. You don't need to be there for them anymore. No, you've left them in a mess. You've given them a puzzle they can't solve, a void they can't fill. And that, my dear, is where the real power lies. The power is in your absence, in your disappearance. You don't need them. But oh, how desperately they need you now. They're not in control anymore. You've stripped them of it. Every time they reach for you, they're reminded of just how small they are, just how insignificant they really are without you. And it makes them ache more, want more, need more. You've made them addicted to you, to your presence, to that fleeting moment of connection that they now can't seem to get back. And when they try to reach out, to crawl back into your world, what are they left with? Nothing. Because you're not there. You're the void, the empty space that will never be filled. And oh, how they'll squirm in their desperation. But don't let them fool you. Don't let them make you think for a second that they're really sorry, that they've learned their lesson. No, they haven't. They never will. Because that's the beauty of it. They're addicted to the chase. They'll never stop wanting. And as long as you keep them wanting, as long as you stay just out of reach, you'll remain their obsession. You'll remain untouchable. And what's more powerful than that? What's more beautiful than being the one thing they can never have, the one thing they can never control? So go ahead, pull away, let them wallow, let them suffer. The more you stay away, the more they'll crave you, the more they'll beg for your attention. And when they do, when they finally collapse under the weight of their own desperation, you'll be right there, watching. But you won't give in. You'll keep them on the hook. You'll keep them wanting, needing, craving your presence. Because in the end, the most delicious part of it all is knowing that they'll never truly have you. Not the way they want to, not anymore. But now comes the real fun. See, it's not enough to simply leave them wanting. No, no, no. The art lies in what happens next. The moment they're on their knees, desperate, clawing at the edges of your absence. You don't swoop in. You don't save them. That's what they expect. That's what they're banking on. You returning like the good little savior they've always believed you to be. But instead, you let the silence linger. You let their torment stretch on until it becomes unbearable. This silence, it's not empty. No, it's deafening. Every tick of the clock grows louder in their ears. Every shadow in the corner of their mind stretches and twists into something darker. They start hearing things, ghosts of your voice, echoes of your presence. It's maddening. They begin to wonder, what went wrong? What did I do? Was it something I said or didn't say? They comb through every moment they shared with you, searching for answers that don't exist. The beauty of it is, you've done nothing. You've simply become a void they cannot fill. Do you hear it? The whispers in their heads, the ones they can't silence, no matter how hard they try. Those whispers become their companions, their tormentors. They'll try to drown them out with noise, with people, with distractions, but nothing works. Because the absence of something significant can't be replaced with something ordinary. And you? You're far from ordinary. You've transformed from a person into an obsession. Every thought, every action, every plan revolves around you, and they hate it. Oh, how they hate it. They'll curse your name, spit venom in your direction, but all of it is hollow. Beneath the surface, they know the truth. Their anger is born from fear, from the realization that they no longer hold any power over you. You've become untouchable, a phantom in their minds they can't exorcise. But let's dig deeper into their psyche, shall we? Humans, as predictable as they are, have a fascinating way of dealing with loss. First comes denial. They convince themselves they don't need you, that your absence doesn't matter. I'm better off without them, they tell themselves, over and over like a mantra. But it doesn't stick, because the heart is a stubborn thing. It doesn't listen to logic or reason. It wants what it wants. And what it wants is you. Denial gives way to anger. They lash out, blame you for the emptiness inside them. They'll twist the narrative, make themselves the victim in a story where they were the architect of their own suffering. It's almost amusing, really, watching them scramble, desperate to pin the blame anywhere but where it belongs, on their own entitlement. They thought you'd always be there, thought your presence was a given, a constant. But now they see the cracks in their perfect little world, and it terrifies them. Then comes bargaining. They'll reach out, test the waters, send a message cloaked in casual indifference. Hey, just checking in. How have you been? Oh, but you won't respond. Not yet. You let them sit in that discomfort, in the silence that screams louder than any words ever could. Because in that silence, they start to realize what they've lost. They start to feel the weight of your absence in ways they can't put into words. And while they spiral into despair, let's talk about you. Because this isn't just about their suffering. No, no, no. This is about what you gain in the process. Absence is a crucible. It burns away the parts of you that were weak, that depended on their validation, their approval, their attention. When you step away, you step into yourself. You discover a strength you didn't know you had, a clarity that was hidden beneath the noise. You start to see things for what they are. The people you once thought you needed, they were never your equals. They were placeholders, distractions, lessons in what not to accept. And now, in your absence, they're forced to confront the reality of who you've become. Someone they can't define, can't predict, can't control. And that uncertainty? Oh, it's a dagger in their fragile little egos. But here's where most people falter. They feel the pull, the temptation to go back, to explain themselves, to justify their absence. Don't resist it. Because the moment you step back into their world, you lose the power you've gained. You become ordinary again, just another piece on their chessboard. And you're not here to play their game. You're here to rewrite the rules. The beauty of all this, your absence isn't just a punishment, it's a lesson. A harsh, unforgiving reminder that your time, your energy, your attention were gifts, not guarantees. And when they finally understand that, if they ever do, they'll be forced to confront a truth they've been avoiding their entire lives. You don't need them, but they'll always need you. And as they sit there, drowning in the void you've left behind, a new question begins to form in their minds. One they're too afraid to say out loud. What happens next? Will you come back? Will you forgive them? Or will you leave them to rot in the chaos they created? The uncertainty eats at them, gnaws at the edges of their sanity. They start to see you not as a person, but as a force of nature, something beyond their understanding, beyond their control. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's one more piece to this puzzle, a twist they'll never see coming. And now, the stage is set. The curtain rises on the final act of this little game. They've spiraled through denial, anger, bargaining, and despair. They felt the icy grip of your absence, the weight of it pressing on their chests like a vice. And now, all that remains is surrender. Not the kind born from peace, but the kind that comes from defeat. A hollow, echoing realization that they've lost something they'll never quite get back. But this, my friend, is where most stories end. A resolution, a tidy little bow tied around the wreckage of their regret. That's not our style, is it? No, we don't settle for simple endings. We orchestrate symphonies of chaos, echoes of your absence rippling through their lives like aftershocks from an earthquake. You see, in their surrender, something strange happens. They begin to idolize you. You become more than a person. You become a symbol, an idea. And as the Joker himself once said, you can't kill an idea. They'll build you up in their minds, perfect you, romanticize you. They'll rewrite their memories of you, painting over the cracks and flaws until you're a masterpiece they can never recreate. But you don't bask in their adoration. You don't fall victim to their newfound reverence. No, you're already miles ahead, stepping into a version of yourself they'll never touch. Because this was never about them. It was about you, about realizing your worth, your power, your ability to command their thoughts without lifting a finger. And here's the kicker. You don't come back. Not entirely. Oh, maybe you throw them a breadcrumb, a fleeting glimpse of your presence to remind them what they've lost, a passing word, a half smile, a memory reawakened in the smallest gesture. But it's never enough to satisfy them. It's just enough to keep them wanting, to keep the cycle alive. Because here's the secret no one wants to admit. People don't crave closure. They crave the chase, the unanswered question, the mystery that keeps them awake at night, replaying every moment, every word, every glance. You become the unsolvable riddle, the locked door they'll never open. And in that mystery, you hold all the power. But let's get philosophical for a moment, shall we? What does this say about them? About you? About the world we live in? Humanity thrives on connection, on the need to be seen, heard, understood. Your absence, your calculated distance, taps into that primal fear of being forgotten, overlooked, unworthy. You've become the mirror they can't look away from, the reflection that forces them to confront the cracks in their own souls. Their suffering isn't just about you. It's a reflection of everything they've neglected within themselves. Think about it. If they had found meaning, if they had nurtured their own inner strength, would your absence have cut so deep? No. It only hurts because you mattered more than they wanted to admit. You weren't just a part of their lives. You were the cornerstone, the thread holding everything together. And when that thread snapped, everything unraveled. Their routines, their confidence, their sense of self, all tied to you, all fallen apart without you. You became their addiction, their obsession, the itch they can't scratch. But here's the twist, the part they'll never see coming. It wasn't your presence that held the power. It was your absence. You didn't have to lift a finger, say a word, or fight for their attention. The moment you walked away, the balance shifted. You stopped playing their game and started playing your own. And the rules? Oh, those were written by you. They'll try to replicate what they had with you. New people, new distractions, new toys to fill the void. But nothing works. Every conversation, every interaction is haunted by the ghost of you. You've set the standard so high that no one else can reach it. And in their frustration, in their endless search for what they lost, they'll come to a painful realization. You didn't just leave their life, you changed it. But here's the beauty of it. You don't need their validation. You've transcended it. While they're trapped in their endless loop of longing, you're free. Free to choose, free to evolve, free to step into a reality where their opinions, their feelings, their suffering are nothing more than background noise. And here's the real kicker, the final, devastating blow. You don't hate them. You don't even resent them. You've moved beyond that. You see them for what they are, flawed, fragile, human. And instead of anger, you feel pity. Pity for the people who couldn't see your worth until it was too late. Pity for the ones who will spend the rest of their lives chasing shadows. But let's be honest, there's a part of you that enjoys this, isn't there? The power, the control, the way their world bends and breaks in your absence. It's intoxicating, it's exhilarating, but it's also dangerous because power, my friend, is a double-edged sword. It can elevate you, but it can also consume you. So, here's the question you need to ask yourself. What kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be the storm that leaves nothing but destruction in its wake? Or do you want to be the light that guides them, even from a distance? The choice is yours. But remember this, whatever path you choose, you've already won. Because the ultimate power isn't in making them crave your presence. It's in making them realize that your absence is their own creation, that they built this prison brick by brick, choice by choice, moment by moment. And when they finally understand that, when the weight of their own choices comes crashing down on them, that's the moment they truly suffer. And as they sit there, drowning in their regret, haunted by your ghost, you've already moved on to a new game, a new stage, a new audience. Because the show must go on, my friend. And when the lights dim, when the applause fades, when the world is left wondering what happened to you, there's only one thing they'll remember. You were never just a person. You were a storm, a force of nature, a chaos they couldn't contain. And that is how they'll remember you. Forever.